So in March 20th, 2019, Disney bought 21st Century Fox for $71.3 billion, which kind of makes Disney the biggest entertainment company in the world.
By far.
Yeah, by far. I think there's no competition, to be honest.
Yeah. No, there is not. What a bargain, 71
Oh, yeah,
billion,
no,
honestly.
I mean, that's just like chump change, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like going into like a store and going into their bargain bucket bins, you know? Bargain, getting Fox for that much.
Bins.
What a bargain.
And the three main things that will benefit Disney the most is X-Men, Deadpool, and Fantastic Four. And we're going to talk about how Deadpool will fit into the MCU.
Yeah, or Willie deal. We don't know.
Yeah, that's
will
true.
Will he be able to? Because Deadpool 3 has now been in development since December 2019.
Yeah.
And do you know who it's being written by?
Who?
It's being written by two long-term writers who write for the show Bob's Burgers deal. And I know you say you're pretty meh with Bob's Burgers.
Oh, okay.
But it's being written by Wendy. I might butcher the names here, but it's being written by Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux Lowlin.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
They're sisters. They're sisters. And yeah, they're the ones writing it.
Yeah.
And it's not expected to start filming until 2022. And there's no director attached to Deadpool 3 yet.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I feel like Disney can make it work. I just feel like I'm just scared that the jokes won't be the same because Disney MCU jokes can be kind of cringe.
Yeah.
And like, will they do well with R-rated stuff? Because they did say that this film will be R-rated now.
Yeah, they've confirmed it'll be R-rated.
Yeah.
Rated R.
Rated R.
Yeah, it will be. But I don't know. It depends. I reckon if they go down the route that Deadpool's going to be basically doing his own thing, really. Like, believe it or not, there was a time deal in the MCU where characters didn't have to interact with one another, like the early Iron Man films and the early Thor. They didn't always have to be with each other. So I reckon if you keep Deadpool in his own little entity, you know, and let him do what he wants to do, but just keep him in his closed little universe within the MCU, I think that'll be the best way to that it doesn't. What happens isn't what you're fearing with the jokes interacting with other characters.
Yeah, because I just feel like it's just too soon. Like, Deadpool does really well by himself, and Deadpool can be a great way to introduce X-Men as well. Like, we don't need to see him like high-fiving Thor or any of the Guardians. I don't want to see that right now. I want him to do his own thing. Yeah, I want him to do his own thing.
Yeah, well, they already said that obviously X-Men will be introduced into the MCU, but it's probably I don't know if I can't remember if it's been confirmed, but it's probably going to be a complete recast to the characters of what the actors and actresses have been playing the original X-Men. So I reckon it's going to be a completely new concept of X-Men in this universe.
Yeah.
So Deadpool's a weird one because they're obviously continuing with Deadpool 3, and the first two Deadpool films were tied in with the Fox X-Men universe.
I know.
So it's such a confuffle. In the sense that how are they going to bring it in? I mean, you've got two. I reckon there's two potential ways you can do this.
All right, hit me with it.
You can either just play around with the time traveling thing that you had with Cable, because time traveling is a thing now in the MCU, so you can just do some random time travel crap.
Yeah.
You know, that's a pretty easy way to do it. And then you've obviously also got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And there's obviously a lot of rumours going out of the Spider-Man film, including multiverse stuff with previous Spider-Men. So you've got that like route now to introduce, like, Deadpool just goes through like some multiverse and bash. He's in the MCU now.
Yeah, I agree with that. But the problem is that I think the time one can be a bit finicky, because I don't want MCU just to use time just to plop everyone everywhere. I think the multiverse one is a good excuse that makes sense, because we've been introduced to that in Far From Home, and we obviously know that Doctor Strange and WandaVision is playing around with multi-universes and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you could really introduce Deadpool through those sort of things that the MCU is starting to establish, which
it
sort of opens up its own little Pandora's box of just shithousery, really, because it can be so complicated, really. Like, once you introduce, I always feel like once you introduce time travel and multiverse, you're just open the rules. There are no rules anymore. It's so hard to establish what you can and can't do. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of people are going to care, to be honest. I think people just want to see Deadpool in the MCU. Not like high-fiving Thor, like you were saying. But I think they just want the character to exist in that universe.
Yeah, and hopefully, man, I feel like this will entry into Disney doing more R-rated stuff, because like who cares at this point? Like no one, like Disney's stock is not going to go down if they do a couple of R-rated movies and TV shows. Is it really? Like, I don't think anyone's that bothered.
Yeah, I think they already realise that Deadpool has to sort of stay rated R, because you've got such a core group of fans of Deadpool that would probably refuse to watch Deadpool if it was put as a PG-13. Because you're handicapping a character that is just known to say whatever he wants to say.
Exactly,
It's not like necessarily that we want him to swear every 2 seconds or do rated R stuff every 2 seconds, but how many scenes from the first 2 Deadpool films are so awesome because they're rated R when it comes to using his swords and like how brutally he murders people.
And just for the fact that he can't die, so there's just so many funny moments because he's just crawling his pieces back together, or he just gets shot in the head and he just makes a funny joke out of it.
Basically, the only thing that is confirmed for Deadpool 3 in terms of characters and cast is Ryan Reynolds. But I wonder what they're going to do with the other ones in terms of Josh Brolin, for example, who's obviously been Thanos. They even made jokes about in Deadpool 2 about that he was Thanos, and now he's basically, if they bring Cable into it, it'll be very interesting to see how that plays up. You've obviously got all the other characters like Fire Fist, Vanessa. What's happened to Negasonic Teenage Warhead as well? Because she's an X-Men in training, or an X-Men. And they're basically saying that they're going to do X-Men differently. And obviously you've got Deadpool's interactions with Colossus as well, who's always been I really liked those scenes with Colossus.
Colossus is sick.
So it's just little things like that. You're thinking, how is this all going to be put together? It's such a mess.
I know it is, but I feel like with Supersonic and Colossus, because they weren't in the other X-Men films, I think they're quite easy to just plop in with Deadpool. The only struggle is Cable, because he is Thanos.
I mean, I could just imagine a scene with Cable and Thanos in the same room as each other. I reckon it could be so. It would probably only work in a Deadpool film, so it'd be so stupid.
That is
just
true.
Staring at each other. Deadpool's just in the middle between them. But at the same time, apparently Ryan Reynolds did do the rounds of writers to see who could pitch the best sort of thing for Deadpool 3, and the Molyneux, I don't know if I'm butchering their surname, but the Molyneux sisters apparently put something together that Ryan Reynolds really liked. So they've obviously got a solution to how they want to do it, which we're just here speculating, Dill.
I mean, this is what we just have to do. If Ryan Reynolds trusts in these people to like that the script is good, then I kind of trust Ryan Reynolds. It's kind of like how Robert Downey Jr. is just Tony Stark. I feel like Ryan Reynolds is just Deadpool. So you just have to trust in his judgment, to be honest.
I think that's the reason why Disney are saying already that it's going to be rated R, because they don't want to piss off Ryan Reynolds.
Exactly.
Because if Ryan Reynolds isn't Deadpool, then you haven't really got Deadpool on the screen.
Mate,
I can't imagine anyone to replace Deadpool at the moment. Like you said, he is what Robert Downey Jr. is to Ivan on the big screen. So I think that's definitely a reason why they're saying, it's going to be rated R. It'll be interesting to see how much they can actually do. Just because it's been given rated R doesn't mean it's going to be like the first 2 Deadpool films.
That is my concern, Lou. I just don't know, because Disney don't do R-rated stuff. So like, how good is it actually going to be? Just a bit of blood, and they just be like, we cannot do this. No, this is too much for us.
This is Disney. Like, this is like one of the things with Star Wars, where Star Wars was known for having limbs chopped off. Like with the hands, heads, everything, legs, bodies. And then obviously in the recent Disney Star Wars films, for some reason now a lightsaber is it's just a scratch, isn't it? When someone hits you, it's just like a scratch. If you've got a leather jacket on, you're good. And so it's Disney. Disney don't do gory stuff. If they have, then it's crap because no one knows what it is in that way. But like, I just can't see. I just can't imagine seeing the Mickey Mouse logo or the Disney logo, and then just immediately cut into Deadpool just beheading gangsters in some bar somewhere. I just can't see it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because Deadpool's going to start this R-rated thing, and I feel like they'll make like a subcategory for like the Disney R-rated stuff if they continue. I mean, they should continue. Like Deadpool 3 should be successful enough for them to be like, you know what, we might as well just do R-rated TV shows now. Like, what is stopping us? Like, we'll just make a subcategory so there's no Disney castle, and then the first thing you see is just a head being blown off.
Castle.
Because kids will be like, what?
Traumatized. but yeah, like there's obviously clearly a demand to see Deadpool in this form because the last 2 films have generated like $1.4 billion or something worldwide. So Disney are business people, they see money. They are very good at making more money. They aren't going to look at that and think, let's sabotage that. They've got a property that's already earned over $1 billion in the box office. So they clearly have something. They must have a workaround for them to even come out and say before anything's even been put together with a director that it's already going to be rated R. They must have already put together a solution of how they're going to get around avoiding the Disney Castle massacre.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a while anyway because I think they said Deadpool won't be until like phase 5 anyway. So that
they won't. It's not even a medium film until 2022. At the earliest.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a while. So I'm hoping they'll probably announce something that introduces more R-rated stuff on Disney Plus, which will make it more interesting for multiple fans. I think at the moment it's really hard to say will it fail. I don't think Deadpool will fail. No, I don't think it will fail.
But it's just how they fit him in. And they have to be really smart about how they fit him in. At the same time, I've obviously got faith in Marvel. They've got a very good track record that they deserve to have the faith of how they want to put the character in. It's not. I can't really think of a lot of examples where they've introduced big characters and they've sort of ruined it. Maybe with like villains like Whiplash, maybe. If you wanted to be like that.
I mean, to be honest,
some of the villains have been pretty crap.
Yeah, they've ruined a lot of villains because they have to die straight away because that's just Disney's philosophy. They just
it's Marvel 101 that the villains can't be great and they have to die straight away. Unless they're Thanos. And then they can just die after 20 films instead. You can't live. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how they do it, but they do have the track record that people should have faith in them doing it justice.
I think, to be honest, that Deadpool now is probably the most important MCU character, in my opinion. Because he's gonna make that separation of R-rated stuff and just MCU, and it's gonna collide together, and I think it's gonna be a stepping stone to even bring in the X-Men as well. So I think he's gonna be more important than even Spider-Man, because we all know Spider-Man is probably gonna be their next Iron Man in terms of like making the most films.
I'm very excited to finally see Deadpool in the MCU. I think it'll be really cool. And he is going to be very important. If they can get him right, because he'll be the first X-Men technically. X-Man. He'll be one of the first X-Man. He'll be the first X-Man in the MCU. And so that alone, it will be pretty. No matter how you look at it, I know you've always got Scarlet. Actually, you've got Scarlet Witch and all that, but I suppose they've never actually said those two were X-Men.
That's a factor as well. Like now that they've bought them, they can actually say they're mutants or not, whatever they.
It's such a shit show.
They were calling them something stupid.
Inhumans.
No, it was something weird. Yeah, it was something weird. I forgot what it was.
No, you sure it was Inhuman?
Nah, because Inhuman is another mutant kind of thing. Inhumans is his own kind of category. This is the thing,
it's such a shit show, but I really hope that they fix it. The only thing, do you know what one thing I just can't wait to see? I can't wait to see TJ Miller in a Disney film in the MCU. Like,
TJ Miller.
Weasel.
Yeah.
I just don't. him and Deadpool sings together are so funny, but they're so out there.
They're not Disney at all.
They're not Disney at all. That's the most thing I'm probably most excited for, if that TJ Miller does get pulled onto Deadpool 3.
Yeah,
that's the scene I want to see.
No, I want to see that.
And then you can just tell your mum Disney produced this.
Yeah, it'll be a happy moment. I think everyone, all categories of people will be so happy to see a BJ Miller scene in Deadpool.
Yeah,
Disney.
Yeah,
like, that's just mad.
It's TJ Miller.
What did I say?
BJ.
I said BJ. Well,
you said BJ.
Blowjob Miller. Yep, that's his name.
Blowjob Miller. I want to see Blowjob Miller, and I want to see Deadpool walking around with a Mickey Mouse.
It's already R-rated. See, it's already R-rated.
Yeah, they're the two things I want. I want to see a Mickey Mouse toy as well, held by Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.